So, what will my first ever video be that will set the tone for the rest of my YouTube career?
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
Can we get much higher?
That's right, One Piece, baby! Now, I won't go over the chapters or the anime since there are more professional YouTubers like Techie101 or Rogers-based that can discuss those better than I could. Instead, I would like to do something a bit different, and that's creating my own crew in the world of One Piece. Now, I will impose 2 rules on myself, and those rules are 1. I cannot use Roger or his crew members as part of my crew. Well, with one exception, and I'll tell you about that later in this video. And 2, I cannot use the Yonkos themselves either, so that means no Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Blackbeard, Shanks, or Luffy sadly, because if I put all the Yonkos on my crew, that would be a bit... But the crew members themselves are fair game. That means everyone else, whether being canon or not canon, dead or alive, is up for grabs. With all that being said,
Let's go!
the first to be filled in the crew is the role of Vice Captain. It is an important role to fill my crew, which will be named the Ghoul Pirates, obviously. It needs to be someone who I can feel confident to leave in charge of the crew, and who's also very powerful and can be calm under the face of pressure. The Vice Captain literally is there to make sure that everyone does their jobs. With that being said, my pick for the role of Vice Captain will be Katakuri. Not only does he have an amazing broken hockey abilities, just overall powerful, the man is just cool. He has just that vibe, the aura. So, that's why I chose him to be my Vice Captain. In the next role that I will need to fill in my crew, I think an even more important role in the role of Vice Captain, and that is the Navigator. The Navigator is there to make sure we don't get fucking lost in the dangerous seas of the One Piece world. I mean, the sea itself can split in half. So yeah, I think it's very fucking important to have a Navigator. So, who could possibly fill that role? That person, I believe, that can fill this role is none other than Nami herself, of course. First and most important reason why I chose her is because, I mean, just like her. But being serious here, she has one of the, if not the best navigation skills in the One Piece world. That is why I chose her to be part of my crew. The next role that needs to be filled is the role of the doctor of our crew. The doctor is there to defend the crew from sickness and help us heal more efficiently after our fierce and epic battles. Just imagine if we get sick and we have no doctor. Well, I'll tell you what happens. We get fucked and go, oops, I have a disease, but we don't have a doctor. Guess I'll die. Nah, fam. That is why we need a doctor. So, to fill that role, I got none other than KDGLol. He is the best doctor in the world of One Piece with an overpowered devil fruit. So, he's a no-brainer to be part of the crew. Also, why I picked him to be part of the crew is because I feel he's just a chill guy that can just hang out with him when we're not, constantly fighting other pirates or the Marines day in and day out. So, he's a good choice for the crew. One role that doesn't get enough credit for how important they are to the crew are the shipwrights. They make sure that the ship is constantly maintained, and when it gets damaged, they can fix it. So, who can fill that role? The person I chose to fill that role is none other than Shaka, aka the Vegapunk satellite. Now I know what you're gonna say. He's a scientist, not a shipwright. To which I say to you, yeah, you're right. That's correct. But hear me out. He is the world's smartest man alive. He is the world's smartest man alive. He is the world's smartest man alive. So I'm pretty sure he can fix a ship like no problem. And not only that, but also improve upon it. But just to be sure, I'ma do a twofer and add Kaku to the crew as an additional shipwright as well. He's part of Cypher Pool Aegis 0. That makes him powerful as it is. Also, I feel like Kaku doesn't get enough love in the One Piece community. So I'm here to do that for my man Kaku. This is for my boy Kaku, let's go. Another role that is kinda important to the crew, but we can do without, is the helmsman. The helmsman needs to make sure that the ship is on course as they steer. They need to give orders to the rest of the crew when shit hit the fan. When the ocean itself can literally split in half, like if this were Moses in the Old Testament, or the underrated movie Prince of Egypt.
Stop it! Leave that man alone!
Who can fill that role? My pick for that role is a bit odd, but I chose Fisher Tiger. Again, I can hear you saying, but what about Jinbei? And to that I say, don't worry, I have plans for Jinbei. But that comes in another video. So, why did I choose Fisher Tiger? Well, I chose him because when he was still alive, he was shown to be stronger than Jinbei. So, that alone I think kinda adds more points to him. Also, he's a fishman, which means that he is in tune with the ocean, just like Jinbei, and can steer the ship with precise control. I also think that he needs to be shown more love since he appeared in the Fishman Island arc, which is not that well loved by the One Piece community.
Know your fucking place, trash!
Personally, I love the Fishman Island arc. It's one of my favorite arcs, alongside Thriller Bark in a lot of the newer arcs. But I gotta move on before, I get burned at the stake for being a heretic and saying, I love the Fishman Island arc. But before I leave, I want to say this. Put some respect on my boy Fisher Tiger's name.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
One role that everyone seems to forget is hella important in the context of the One Piece world, and that role is a Poneglyph decipher. I mean, if I want to reach Laugh-Tale and become king of the pirates, I need someone who can read and can decipher those stony bitches. So that is why I chose 2 people for the role, and those being Nico Robin and Kazuki Odin. Now, again, I can hear you saying, you can't use anybody from Goldie Rogers' crew. Well, here's the thing. Odin, before joining the Roger Pirates, was a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. Meaning, get fucked, losers, I found a loophole, ha ha ha. But to be serious, Odin is the only exception that will make here since, he's so fucking cool and super strong. I feel like he deserves a better ending than what he got, in the main story of One Piece. R.I.P. to a real one. And as for Robin, just look at her. Again, being serious here, I feel like she is overlooked when it comes to strength, which I get, and I don't blame you for that, but not only can she decipher the poneglyphs, but she also has a very strong Delta fruit that can literally grow appendages anywhere. I think that's kind of broken as all hell. So that's why I chose both of them to be part of the crew. Finally, the role in the crew that you have all been waiting for, and that role is none other than... Okay, I know that you've been waiting for the chef of the crew, or not, I guess. But I have other things to work on, so that's gonna be in... That's right, there will be a part 2. This is gonna be a series. Now, focusing on the sniper role, which, again, is not that important to fill, but I think it'll be cool to have in the crew nonetheless. So, who can I fill that sniper role? I chose Van Auger. Now, why did I choose Van Auger? Well, he's pretty fucking cool. Not only is he one of the Titanic captains in the Blackbeard Pirates, but man just has a fucking cold ass aura that follows him wherever he goes. So he's a perfect fit for my crew. And to recount, my members of the crew so far are Katakuri as the vice captain, Nami as my navigator, Trafalgar D. Law as my doctor, Shaka and Kaku as the shipwrights, Fisher Tiger as the helmsman, Nico Robin, Kazuki Odin as the Poneglyph decipherers, and last but not least, Van Auger as the sniper. And well, that's the end of my first video. Again, I would like to thank you for watching, and I'm glad you enjoyed your experience, and hope to see you again soon as your gracious host. Thank you all. Now, I would like to take this time, for those of you who still are here, to thank everyone who watched till the end and giving me a chance as an up-and-coming YouTuber. I would also like to tell you what are my plans for this channel. My main focus for this channel is to create videos on topics that I personally find interesting, like anime, comics, like Marvel and DC, and monsters. I love me some cool ass monsters. So I'll be mainly focusing on making those kind of videos. So, as a reward to those of you who stuck around till the very end, I'll give you a clue as to what my next video may be. The next video will be something along the lines of, again, like I mentioned before, one of the 4 pillars. The next one will focus on monsters. And for the title, I was thinking about along the lines of Marvelous Menagerie. Or I may just continue on with this series of assembling a crew in the One Piece world. But that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.